you all are enjoying this rainy, actually it's raining here in Milwaukee. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but it's raining here. And all right, I just want to start off by saying thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to be your MC, your host today. And I want to start out by thanking our partners. I want to thank U.S. Small Business Administration, U.S. Department of Transportation, Small Business Transportation Resource Center, Wisconsin Department of Transportation, WIBIC, or the Wisconsin Women's Initiative Corporation, Wisconsin Small Business Development Center, Wisconsin Procurement Institute, Ethnic Diverse Business Coalition, and SCORE Association. I want to take this moment to introduce Suzanne Zwaska. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting this very nice lady here a few minutes ago before I sat down. A little bit about Suzanne, the Vice President and Community Affairs Manager for U.S. Bank. Suzanne works with nonprofit organizations, government, elected officials, and several other critical community partners to position U.S. Bank as an community. This includes focusing U.S. Bank's giving investments, lending, and volunteer services to community needs within her Wisconsin market. Suzanne has been with U.S. Bank for 7 years and has over 30 years of banking and community development experience. Some includes her working as a consultant to Mayor Barrett's Milwaukee Closure Partnership Initiative, working in conjunction with Department of City Development staff. She assisted in securing over $33 million in NSB funding and related strategic planning. Zwaska oversaw efforts to secure resources, staff, and foreclosure programming in the city of Milwaukee, including the Take Root Milwaukee Homeownership Consortium and the Foreclosure Mediation Program, which has expanded statewide. Most recently, Suzanne worked as a senior manager for special projects within the Foreclosure Mitigation Division for Neighbor Works America in Washington, D.C. Here, she worked with senior staff to complete an agreement between the U.S. Treasury and Neighbor Works, along with subsequent program implementation for additional housing council resources. Suzanne has a BA degree in Business Administration from the University of Milwaukee, and education certification from Mary University. Lady, you are well educated. Oh my goodness. She serves on the board of directors of Mercy Housing Wisconsin, Wisconsin Economic Development Association, and Change. Suzanne spends her time with her husband Mark and her 3 adult children and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, Suzanne Zwaska.
Thank you, Alex. Hello and good morning. My name is Suzanne Zwaska, as Alex said, and I'm the Vice President and Community Affairs Manager for U.S. Bank in Wisconsin. I'm pleased to announce to you that U.S. Bank is once again serving as the keystone sponsor for the 9th Annual Lieutenant Governor's Conference on Small Business Development and the Small Business Academy, hosted by the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. U.S. Bank has partnered with WEDC for many years, and we are grateful for their unwavering commitment to and focus on providing numerous resources to support our small business owners throughout the state of Wisconsin. Thank you, Secretary Missy Hughes, for your unwavering dedication to all of our small business owners, and thank you to all the WEDC staff, as well as Ina Williamson's and the Wisconsin Procurement Institute staff for their outstanding contributions to this event and their commitment to all of you. The majority of my 35-year career has been spent in community development in the state of Wisconsin. I'm very proud of this and feels if I've been given opportunities as a result, many of them. One of the most meaningful is the opportunity to participate in directed initiatives such as today's event to support all our small business owners throughout the state. The decision to run your own business is huge, and many people decide it may be easier to work for someone else, myself included. But let them take on the challenges and risks associated with running your own business. Personally, I admire and have a great deal of respect for your decision. With the risk often comes great reward and controlling your own outcomes and making an indelible impact on the individuals and communities you serve. I'm continually inspired by your tenacity and drive to succeed as owners. The past year continues to challenge many of us, and yet here you are, ready to keep forging ahead to do your best for your business customers, your families, and for yourselves. You've had to overcome many obstacles. Technology, I think goes without saying, financial, human resources, and more, requiring you to think on your feet, make timely decisions, and embrace all of your other responsibilities. I applaud you for that. And you're trying to have a life right at the same time with family and friends. At US Bank, we're committed to serving the small business community throughout Wisconsin and the entire country. I began my career at what is now US Bank, was First Wisconsin National Bank, while I was attending college. It was my college job, and it was my job for some years beyond that. And here I'm back. And even then, as a young person, I realized that we were making a significant impact on all the small business owners throughout our markets. Here in Wisconsin, we provide US Bank Foundation grants, sponsorships, investments to our nonprofit partners who support small business, and with technical assistance, business education, mentorship, recognition, networking events, along with a lot of other resources. We work with most of the chambers of Wisconsin. We work with, well, I should say all of them. We work with the University of Wisconsin-Lubar's Entrepreneurship Center, BizStarts, Wisconsin WIBIC Initiative Corporation, as well as a lot of other organizations. Over the next 4 days, you will have the opportunity to listen to industry experts on topics such as funding solutions for your business, how to get started with digital marketing, cybersecurity, developing financial projections, and 6 ways to work with a mentor, as well as how to become certified. All these options and possibilities throughout the conference are designed to assist you and your business, enhance your personal and professional growth, and strengthen your business so you achieve optimal success. We understand that your success is intimately intertwined into the health of both our local and national economy. Please take the opportunity at this conference to network and make new connections. As we know, relationships drive almost everything in our lives. Thank you again so much for attending this year's Lieutenant Governor's Conference on Small Business Development. And it's an investment in you and in your business, and we're so happy to have you. And now I'd like to introduce Misty Hughes. Misty Hughes is a secretary and CEO of WEDC, Wisconsin's lead economic development organization. Before joining WEDC in October of 2019, she was general counsel and chief mission officer at Organic Valley. Her previous positions include associate attorney at the firm of Holland & Hart, where she practiced in the areas of natural resources, construction litigation, and corporate business transactions. She served on the boards of the Environmental Working Group and the Organic Trade Association, where she was a 3-term board president. The U.S. Secretary of Agriculture appointed Hughes to the USDA Advisory Committee on Agriculture and Biotechnology in the 21st century. Secretary Hughes received her Bachelor of Art in Political Science from Georgetown University and Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Wyoming College of Law. Secretary Hughes, it is just a pleasure to partner with you again this year for this conference. And with that, please join me in welcoming Secretary Misty Hughes.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you for those kind words, and thank you for US Bank's ongoing support of not only small businesses, but the work that we do, like Small Business Academy or the Marketplace. Your support is incredibly important to bringing these opportunities to our businesses around the state. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Small Business Academy. For me, one of the highlights for the past year, the past 2 years, has been having the opportunity to travel around the state and visit with so many small business owners, especially those small business owners who have received the Main Street Bounce Back Grant from WEDC. We have had the opportunity through Governor Evers' deployment of federal dollars to help over 4,200 businesses in Wisconsin start in the last 18 months. We have grants to small businesses in 72 out of 72 counties, and we're so excited that we're able to help business owners like the folks on this call today create this opportunity and their business, their creativity, their creative ideas, and bring them to life. As we've traveled around the state and heard from entrepreneurs, they have said that the support that they receive, not only from the state, but from their local economic developers, from their partners in the communities, has really made all of this possible, has made their lives turn into passion and turn into following their missions. I was chief mission officer at Organic Valley and had the opportunity to really understand what it means to have your passion come to life. And that's what we see in small businesses all around the state. But as you bring your passion to life, it's also important to make sure that you know the technical details of how to have a cash flow statement and how to work with your bank like US Bank. And so that's what the Small Business Academy is all about. It's about bringing the technical assistance that businesses need to life and to make your passion also be an opportunity to make a living. And so I encourage you over the next few days to really dig in and think about how the information that you're getting can help you in your business be more successful, because your success is critical to the success of the state of Wisconsin. We want to teach you how and where to access the state's resources, make sure that you have a direct line of opportunity to be part of what's happening all around Wisconsin and be a part of our economy and supporting our economy, because small businesses are the backbone of Wisconsin's economy. And it's critically important that we think about how to support you. Let us know what else we can be doing, because that feedback is really important. And just really congratulations on being a small business owner and being a part of Wisconsin. It's my pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. He is the host of our Small Business Academy, and he's going to tell you how Wisconsin's small businesses really help us as a state move forward.
No.
All right. Thank you so much, and please lay out. But just want to good morning. Give me for this muted. I want to thank Secretary for being able to speak to you, and Secretary Hughes for the wonderful introduction. I am so honored to be able to do all today. You may ask, as you, the small business owners and the prospective small business owners who are a powerhouse for Wisconsin's economy. And I'd like to share a couple of statistics with everybody, things you may know, things you may not know, but these do come straight from the U.S. Small Business Administration. More than 99% of all businesses in Wisconsin fit the federal definition of being a small business, as in having fewer than 500 employees. About 1.3 million people, or 49% of Wisconsin's workforce, is employed by a small business. So as you can see, you may be a small business, but you're a pretty big deal. This is National Small Business Week, as you may know, and it's a time where the entire country celebrates the successes of our locally owned small businesses. And it's also a time for us to think about what we can all do to help to ensure that our local communities and our businesses can thrive. Now, events like this one today, the Small Business Academy, are just one way that the state of Wisconsin supports its entrepreneurs. Now, Secretary Hughes just mentioned another initiative that's helping our communities recover from the pandemic and is also helping to bring new life to commercial districts all across the state. And that's the Main Street Bounce Back Grants. Now, Governor Evers announced these $10,000 grants for businesses and nonprofits that move into previously vacant commercial spaces last spring. Now, since August, when the first grants were awarded, the WEDC has awarded nearly $42 million in these grants. That's nearly 4,200 businesses and nonprofits who've opened their doors in the past 9 months with help from the Main Street Bounce Back Grant. Now, these grants have enlivened our downtowns and communities. We'll take Washburn as an example, a city of just about 2,000 people in Bayfield County. Now, it has at least 12 businesses that have received Main Street Bounce Back grants. The former Dairy Queen at the edge of downtown that sat vacant is now a swanky veteran-owned martini bar. There are new art galleries, a specialty toy store, and so much more. Toy store. Now, these new businesses not only draw visitors to town, they make the community better, offering jobs, community gathering spaces, and so much more. Now, business owners say that the grants have allowed them to make repairs and updates to their buildings to help buy supplies, to help expand, and also to add new products. And these grants have also given the businesses and their communities a reassurance that the state of Wisconsin is right there every step of the way, pulling for them to succeed. And we're pulling for you all to succeed. For those of you who have been considering moving into a brick and mortar storefront or office, this may be the time to take the leap. The Main Street Bounce Back grants are scheduled to run through the end of June, so there is still some time to apply. And I encourage you all to learn more about the grants and how to apply by visiting wedc.org. And while you're on the WEDC website, please take a look around and discover some of the other programs that the WEDC offers small businesses. I know that the state small businesses have big dreams, so there are a wide array of resources and tools that are designed to help your business grow. There's a whole wide world out there. When your business is ready, WEDC's Global Trade and Investment Team can help you navigate exporting with training such as Export Tech and also trade ventures. Now, I can sense what some of you might be thinking. Wait, exporting might just be a small business, not ready for all that. But as we often say, Wisconsin has the best workforce in the world and plenty of ideas that I do believe will change the world. Now, remember those statistics that I shared from the beginning, the U.S. Small Business Administration? I'll give you one more, and that is more than 85% of Wisconsin firms that exported goods in 2019 were considered small businesses. The value of those exports is about $5.6 billion, or more than 28% of all of our state's exports. From family farms looking to diversify by adding a retail store to entrepreneurs developing the next Google, there are supports for whatever stage of business you're at. And it is my hope that this academy will help connect you to the mentors, the training, the funding, and the programs that work for you and your business. Now, Wisconsin works hard to support our state's businesses, both through programs at the WEDC and also through an extensive network of regional economic development partners. Many of those partners are represented right here today at this academy. And I'm grateful for all the work they do to help businesses flourish in Wisconsin and also for their help with this week's events. I want to acknowledge the Academy's keystone sponsor, U.S. Bank, and our partners at the U.S. Small Business Administration, the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, the Wisconsin Procurement Institute, the Wisconsin Small Business Development Center, SCORE Association, and the Ethnic Diverse Business Coalition. And that brings me to an area that we as a state still need to work on, and that's ensuring that everyone has access to the training and the resources that will allow them to start and grow their businesses. Now, historically, some groups, such as people of color, women, and the LGBTQ plus community, have not always had the same access to capital or credit as other groups. Groups such as the Ethnic Diverse Business Coalition and others have been working diligently to improve our state's business climate to help diverse businesses and business people of all backgrounds thrive here. And Wisconsin took a major step in March towards ensuring that these efforts succeed. Governor Evers announced a more than $86 million investment to support our small businesses in these communities. About $57.6 million in grant was awarded to 24 chambers of commerce and nonprofit organizations working with businesses. Another $28 million was awarded to community development financial institutions to support access to capital and credit for micro and small businesses. Now, I'm very excited to see what these groups are able to do with this type of investment, because many people were able to thrive without it. But I want to encourage all of you attending this week's Academy all across Wisconsin to take the investments that we're making in you and your business and put it to good use. Share your knowledge, your experiences, your ideas, support your fellow business people, offer opportunities, and act as a mentor if you're able to others who are just starting their business journey. On Friday, there will be live in-person sessions at locations all across the state. So choose one, join, meet other entrepreneurs who are walking down the same path, and support one another, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And know that the state of Wisconsin will be there supporting you as well. I want to thank you all so much for participating. I want to thank you all so much for having me today.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Barnes. It's such a pleasure that you're able to join us today, kicking off this exciting week. I'm Sam Rickers. I'm the Deputy Secretary at WEDC. Lieutenant Governor Barnes, Secretary Hughes, again, thank you for your wonderful words. Small Business Week and small businesses are all about hustle. It's when businesses come together. We've seen it all across the pandemic, the hustle that has really gotten us where we are. It's now my pleasure to introduce Eric Ness. Eric Ness is the director of Wisconsin's Office of U.S. Small Business Administration. He has spent more than 30 years to help small businesses grow and thrive. I'm looking forward to putting all of those 30 years into practice this week during this Small Business Academy. Eric, so good to see you again. Thank you for being here. I'm going to pass it off to you.
Thanks, Sam. And I also want to join the Lieutenant Governor in wishing Wisconsin a happy National Small Business Week. You realize for more than 51 years, the President of the United States has issued a proclamation announcing National Small Business Week, which recognizes the critical contributions of America's entrepreneurs and small business owners, including Wisconsin's 462,000 small business. Realize more than half of Americans either own or work for a small business, and small businesses create about 2 out of every 3 new jobs in the US each year. WEDC has been a powerful partner to bring Small Business Academy to National Small Business Week for the first time. We thank them for their leadership and their collaboration. SBA traditionally has presented awards to small businesses and champions during this week, but I and my staff have wanted to empower all Wisconsin's small businesses with the opportunity to elevate their expertise at this time. For 10 power-packed sessions, including a virtual panel with SBA's Small Business Award winners on Friday morning, you'll meet Wisconsin's experienced experts and partners, including some from the SBA. You'll learn about SBA's financing and contracting programs, as well as many others. The missions of all of them is to help you succeed in the entrepreneurship journey. Many of you probably know about SBA's pandemic relief programs, such as Payroll Protection Program, Restaurant Revitalization Fund, Shuttered Venue Operator Grant, and Economic Injury Disaster Loans. But SBA's other 3 missions are helping small business start, grow, and expand, are alive and well. In fact, SBA's traditional lending, including to startups, is higher than ever. You'll hear more about those this morning in this morning's panel. SBA's Small Business Advisory and Federal Contracting will be talked about this week too. One new program of note for those interested businesses in the Milwaukee and Green Bay area, SBA has an intensive executive learning program called Thrive starting this summer. You'll hear more about it this week, but SBA is paying the tuition for the businesses accepted to this. So take a look at that. If you're interested, let us know. I'd also like to extend a hearty thanks to SBA's and WEDC's partners SCORE, Small Business Development Center Network, the Women's Business Initiative Corporation, the Women's Procurement or the Wisconsin Procurement Initiative, and the Ethnic and Diverse Business Coalitions for their work on the Small Business Academy. Now, I'd like to introduce our speaker for this morning, Shannon Jefferson. Shannon Jefferson is a small business success story. She is the CEO of Gibraltar Industries, a full-service facility maintenance and management firm. Established in 2007, Gibraltar Industries has been providing quality service and supplies for major clients, homeowners throughout southeastern Wisconsin for 12 plus years. Ms. Jefferson started Gibraltar Industries after a layoff in 2007 from her corporate position as an analyst. As a child, she aspired to be an attorney, but life circumstances led her to entrepreneurship. Gibraltar Industries has been a labor of passion that has allowed Ms. Jefferson to serve many capacities. Gibraltar Industries is the second chance employer providing job opportunities and skill training to formerly incarcerated men and women. Ms. Jefferson is a jobs ambassador for UMOS, a local assistance agency geared to helping low-income families and youth. She also serves as the vice president of the National Association of Minority Contractors and has been on the board of directors with the Business Council, the African American Chamber of Commerce of Wisconsin, and WasteCap. She is currently the member of the Professional Dimensions, Fuel Milwaukee, and Women Court and Civic. Ms. Jefferson and Gibraltar Industries have been widely recognized and awarded for their support and diversity in the business community and for the company's outstanding work. Please help me welcome Shannon Jefferson. Shannon.
Gibraltar Industries, Inc. is a 14-year young facilities maintenance firm, and we specialize in final construction cleaning. In the next 2 or 3 years, I'm hoping to take Gibraltar Industries not only from a service provider, but also a products and service provider. We will be implementing distribution into our fold come 2020, 2021. Hoping to become the area's largest minority female-owned distributor of facilities maintenance products. Our preparation consists of keeping our feet grounded in the community, making partnerships with community-based organizations to assist us in our HR development. We work with several local community organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, and as well as Silver Spring Neighborhood Center, as well as the Urban League. They've been strategic partners in UMOS. We are a jobs ambassador for UMOS, so they help us to grow our capacity. They've helped us in the past few years to grow our capacity. I'm excited about the years to come in the business community here in Milwaukee in particular, because we are in the spotlight right now. And that, I feel, gives us the opportunity to grow and develop some of the smaller and minority and women-owned companies to capacity. We have a lot of great projects on the horizon. We have a lot of great things on the horizon, including the Democratic National Convention, including things like Komatsu. Larger global organizations are looking at Wisconsin as a hub, and that's what excites me. I love NAMAC. NAMAC is an organization where I feel the most at home. I feel like I can be a resource to our organization, and as well as to the members of our organization. It's a place where I feel like I can, as a small minority-owned business woman, I can be exactly who I am and help in the capacities that I can help in.
There we go. Good morning, everyone. Wow, that video was actually shot and recorded prior to the global crisis. And oh, how things have changed. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Academy 2022. Again, my name is Shannon Jefferson, and I am the President and CEO of Gibraltar Industries, Inc. So many things have changed since that video was actually put into place. Right now, Gibraltar is actually operating in 3 key business sectors, which includes facilities maintenance, service and supply, highway maintenance, service and supply, and consulting, and lead hazard abatement. I feel personally honored to be here addressing you today, considering my first time attending this conference was quite a while ago. If I'm not mistaken, our keynote speaker at the time was Famous Dave from Famous Dave's Barbecue Restaurant franchise. He was insightful and invigorating, and I'm hoping that I can be that for you today. So thank you to the SBA, thank you to WPI and WEDC, and all of the partners who are putting forth the effort to make sure that small businesses are prosperous in Wisconsin. You are truly appreciated. And thank you for allowing me this opportunity. If you are wondering what I am going to address you about, I have a confession to make, and that is that I used to suffer from what is called imposter syndrome. And you're probably wondering what imposter syndrome has to do with entrepreneurship. And in my case, it has everything to do with entrepreneurship. I can remember starting off my business in 2007 and walking into rooms that felt like walking into an alien landscape, full of individuals speaking a myriad of business languages, all of which were foreign to me. As the room would slowly start to spin, I would find myself shrinking and slowly making my way to like a corner or a restroom or somewhere. I would be hyperventilating and have to coax myself out of passing out and convince myself to take 5 deep breaths to bring myself and my nerves back down. I would bring my gaze from the floor to the mirror and start to give myself the tough talk that I needed to calm my nerves, humming what could only now be the Rocky song. Yes, the theme of Rocky used to play through my head as I would be at a networking event. I began to give myself the tough speech that I needed to get out there and to make magic happen. Telling myself, fist pumping in the air, literally, you are talented, you are capable, and most of all, you belong here. I have to say that this method worked 90% of the time. The other 10%, well, some rooms were actually tougher than others. I learned early on that I had to shake off my confidence issues and go after what I wanted. I would find myself in the bathrooms of many events and galas, going through what I now deemed my Rocky ritual. But eventually, fearless networking became my forte. I would decide in that moment how many engagements I wanted to make, which would include me giving and receiving business cards, following up, and most of all, extending my hand to help in any way that I could. Being a willing participant, not just a bystander. The first year was tougher than the 5th year, which was tougher than the 8th year. And soon enough, my R&R, my Rocky ritual, was not needed. I would walk into rooms and it would be like cheers. As soon as you get settled into the groove of an entrepreneurial rhythm, here comes life to knock you into a whirlwind that would have tested Rocky himself on his best day. And that for me was 2020. For the first time in my entrepreneurial career, I had no clue how to get through. And I had no clue of how I was going to overcome the obstacles that were before me or what the next steps were. and the theme of Rocky and deep breathing could not stop me from closing my business in 2020, in March of 2020. I felt like everything was, like my life was ending, honestly. And here comes, after all of these years, here comes my imposter syndrome rearing its ugly head with doubt and fear. I was questioning everything. What do I do now? How do I move forward? Do I want to move forward? That was a really big question for me. And who am I without Gibraltar Industries? An entrepreneurial existential crisis of an epic proportion, all while the entire world is going through a global crisis. I had to sit with myself and reflect for over almost a year and a half, the first time in a very long time that I did not have a 60-hour work week or a jam-packed agenda. It was an interesting time and it was an interesting journey. It actually led me to do something that I had wanted to do for quite a long time. Sorry about that. It led me to do something that I wanted to do for quite a long time, and that was to take a trip to the Redwood Forest, where I took off my hiking boots and sat next to a tree with my feet in the soil and reflected on what I was going to do now that I wasn't a business owner anymore. And to say the least, it was an amazing experience. When I returned back home, I returned renewed, telling myself that this was the opportunity for me to take my business in another direction, to do something different. And ultimately, I circled back to Gibraltar with a new understanding of what was most important and how to restructure my business. More grounded than ever, refocusing on the basics and coming back to, you are talented, you are capable, and you belong here. If I could say anything to the up and coming entrepreneurs and even the ones that have been in business for quite a while, don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. And don't be afraid to take time to step back from your business if you are in business and reevaluate. When we get into the throes of actually being a business owner every day, it's a 24-hour, 365-day-a-year job, and it can be all-consuming. And although I would not have ever asked for a global pandemic to set me outside of my business, I am grateful that it did. I'm grateful that it gave me the opportunity to step back and refocus on what was most important, who was most important, and gave me a new perspective that has allowed me to grow and develop. When I reopened my business in 2021, I felt like I was restarting all over again. I came out of the gates with providing final construction cleaning for the African American Chamber of Commerce. And then we also performed service for Summerfest, Milwaukee World Festival. And we also performed service for the Target in Bayshore. So we took on three major projects coming out of the gate, restarting again. But I feel like that break that I took allowed me the opportunity to re-engage with the way that I wanted to do business moving forward. And so if I can leave you with any thought, that would be to take the time for yourself, which we don't do as presidents and CEOs. We don't take the time for ourselves. Take the time to step outside of your business and look at the direction that you actually want to go. Don't get bogged down by the day-to-day, and it's going to be okay. Even if you have to sing the theme of Rocky like I used to in the mirror, you will be just fine. And again, thank you everyone for being here. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to be a part of the Small Business Academy this year. And thank you.
Thank you so much for your story, Shannon. A few things stuck out. You talked about preparation, community, and the importance of partnerships. You also spoke about being genuine, not only to those around you, but to yourself. And you said your Rocky ritual. But it ain't how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Beautiful, beautiful story, beautiful words. Thank you for your story, folks. We are going to be taking a short break. We will see you all back here at 10 o'clock. Thank you for joining us again. And as I said, we'll see you at 10. Okay. Yeah,
Hello?
Hi, Mike, we're here.
Hi, yeah, I just wasn't sure. I joined, I didn't hear any chatter going on, so I thought, maybe I'm in the wrong place. How are you, Tammy?
Very good, thanks. And you?
Wet.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a little mopey outside.
Yeah, hey, good for the grass, good for the flowers.
True
Good for-
that.
Yeah. And Tammy, just so you know, we have a brand new loan officer that just started here at WIVIC. Her name is Lona. And so you'll be seeing her around the pipe here when you come into our office and whatnot. And she's going to be covering our Racine and Kenosha markets.
Very cool. Is she out of the Milwaukee office or is she out of the Kenosha?
Well, right now she's training with me in from the Milwaukee office. Hang on a second.
Got it.
Hello?
Hey, Mike, the whole audience.
Tammy, can you hear me?
Okay.
This
Good.
is Macy.
Thank you.
Macy.
Yep.
Hi, Macy.
Hi.
So we'll be starting at 10 o'clock. If you just want to kind of wait until then, we'll be starting kind of officially then.
Sounds good. I'll put myself on mute till then. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Academy. This hour session is Show Me the Money, Locating Alternative Sources of Funding, a panel discussion. Just a quick reminder that we will take Q&A at the end of the session. You are free to enter questions into GoToWebinar at any time. At this time, I would like to turn over the session to Bob Lamb. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our panel discussion on Show Me the Money, Locating Alternative Sources of Funding. This is going to be a great panel. We have a lot of industry experts and a lot of information to share, so I'm really pleased that you're here this morning. My name is Bob Lamb. I'm the Vice President of Business Banking with U.S. Bank, and U.S. Bank is a proud sponsor, as a keystone sponsor of this year's conference. So I'm going to jump right in and ask each of you to individually introduce yourselves and tell me about the organization and your position. So let's start it right off with Macy Herr. Macy? Good morning. You're still muted.
Good morning, Bob. It's wonderful to be with everybody. My name is Macy Herr. I am the CEO of the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. We are statewide. We serve statewide, but we're headquartered here in Milwaukee. We have a satellite office in Wausau. We have a shared office space in Madison. And then we also have a couple of offices we're opening up in the state throughout this upcoming year. But we have a mighty team, currently a mighty team of 5.5, I would say. We have a part-time student with us as well. And we are a community development financial institution, mission driven. We primarily focus on some of the most vulnerable Asian American communities, mostly Hmong and Southeast Asian. However, we have a very diverse portfolio. We here at HWCC, we understand that there's a wealth gap in America. And so one of the things that we do, or our mission really is to focus on providing or uplifting some of the most historically underserved, economically underserved communities throughout the state. So we provide, for the most part, we provide technical assistance or business assistance to business startups, really those who are established as well, but most who do come to us are those who are startups, those who have gone to traditional banks and may have been deemed high risk or unbankable for whatever reason, or underbanked. And so we are here as really to work alongside traditional banks to help these individuals out, and so that we can help grow their small businesses. We also provide lending opportunities for those who qualify. We have a loan review committee that looks at the applications that come in. And we also we have Bob, do you want me to go ahead and continue just sharing other details as well?
Actually, you know what? I'm going to carry that on to the second question. So thank you, Macy, for asking.
Perfect. Yes.
If you don't mind, I'm going to introduce Willie Smith, or let Willie Smith introduce himself. Good morning, Willie.
Good morning. I am Willie Smith, the Executive Director of the Northwest Side Community Development Corporation in Milwaukee. We are a community development financial institution. We're a CDFI. We focus on small business loans from $250,000 to $1 million. We typically work with early stage businesses, but we provide a lot of business coaching, counseling, and technical assistance as well. We're on the north side of Milwaukee, but we will originate loans outside of Milwaukee. So that I'll keep it short and sweet. I won't screw up any of your following questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Smith. Our third panelist this morning is Mike Ketzel. I'm not sure if Mike is on. Hopefully he's on. I know we had reached out to him a little earlier.
Mike is there.
Mr. Mike, how are you, sir? Good to see you this morning.
Good. How are you, Bob?
Good, thanks.
Good, yeah. So my name is Mike Ketzel. I'm the Director of Lending for WBIC, the Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative Corporation, and we are this year celebrating our 35th year in business. as one of Wisconsin's first CDFIs, and we help anybody that needs help that can't traditionally get bank financing for their business. We're kind of like a three-legged stool. We do technical assistance, so which means we coach people. We also wind up doing classes. We do quite a number of classes on how to write business plans and how to basically get your financial house in order to be able to qualify for a business loan. And then we do loans up to $250,000 and soon to be $350,000 with the changes that are proposed with the SBA. And we generally don't do real estate deals because our amortizations don't allow us to go out beyond 10 years. However, everything that has to do with business, working capital, equipment, leasehold improvements, we like to coach the business owners.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike. I'm going to then turn it over to Tammy Clendenning. Good morning, Tammy.
Hi there.
Welcome.
Appreciate the introduction. Great to see all of you today and be here with you. As Bob said, my name is Tammy Clendenning and I am with the Small Business Administration. We are the only federal agency that is focused solely on small business. We were established in 1953. And my job is the lead economic development specialist. And what I do is myself and my team work with small businesses throughout the state to connect them to local resources. The mission of the SBA is to help small business start, build, and grow. And we do that primarily through our primary programs are capital, contracting, counseling, and disaster relief. So with that, I will turn it back to Bob. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate it. And last but not least is Mr. Nathaniel Martinez. Mr. Martinez, are you on this morning?
Sorry, looks like I was muted.
Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you, Bob. I'm Nathaniel Martinez.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, please turn on your camera. There you go. Now I can see you.
Yeah, so once again, Nathaniel Martinez. I currently serve as a Regional Economic Development Director for the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. Here at WEDC, we strive to work with Wisconsin's businesses and communities to build an economy that works for everyone. We also partner with organizations, some of which are on this panel, to support additional programs and resources to assist businesses. In my role as a Regional Economic Development Director, we work with businesses and communities to provide businesses and economic development assistance through our business tax credits program, site assessment and brownfield grants, historic tax credits, community development investment grants, and our idle sites grants program. As a statewide organization, we also act as a conduit to connect businesses and other communities at the local level, connecting businesses to resources in their specific area. So with that, I'll hand it back to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nathaniel. That was awesome. I guess my first question really is, as a business owner, and you've kind of told me about what your organizations do, but as a small business owner, tell me what types of programs you offer specifically for me and the advantages of working with your organization. In other words, what sets your organization apart? Why would I want to work with your organization? Macy?
Yes. So yes, as you mentioned, I kind of went into that earlier, but I'll go ahead and share a little bit more on that. While we focus primarily on the Asian American community, we have quite a diverse portfolio. In terms of technical assistance or business assistance, we provide one-on-one assistance. We also provide workshops, and webinar sessions. We've done that, especially over the last 2 years. But in this past year, should I say, or I should say in 2022, we've spent a great amount of time doing a lot of one-on-one, which it seems that people have really especially needed. We also provide lending options. We provide anywhere between $1,000 and $100,000. It used to be $75,000. We recently just increased the amount that we could deploy up to $100,000. We also, we provide networking opportunities as well throughout the state, and in fact, we have one that's coming up this coming Thursday in Wausau. So we've been doing a lot of that as well. I would say that one of the advantages of working with us is that we have a diverse staff that, especially, we focus, we're very intentional about making sure that our services are culturally responsive, and that, we understand where that not all of us come from a background where we might have experience in business, or the understanding of how running a business works here in the United States. And so we come with that understanding in our staff and as well as our board. So I think that that's really what sets us apart from perhaps other groups, but we work very closely, I will say, with a lot of our friends who are right here on a panel with us.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Macy. I appreciate it. Great to hear the good information. And then Mr. Willie Smith. Mr. Smith, are you on? If you'd like to address the same question, I'm happy to reread it if you'd like.
Please.
Okay. As a small business owner, tell me what types of programs your organization specifically offers and the advantages of working with your organization. In other words, what sets your organization apart?
Sure. I'd say one of the biggest differentiating factors of Northwest Side CDC is, as a CDFI, our lending range. We start at $250,000. Our average loan is about $350,000. So for a number of individuals, if they're looking for a larger loan, we can offer that. And I'd say another advantage to Northwest Side CDC is the fact that we provide a significant amount of post-funding support. So, typically we're dealing with early stage businesses. We do some startups, but not a lot. Typically a startup is not looking for $250,000. So, with the business owners we're working with, typically it's working capital, equipment, could be real estate or something of the sort. And we work with them and assisting them with scaling their business. A lot of times individuals, they might be, they may have operated at a certain level for quite some time, and now they're looking to move to the next level. Well, we provide, the assistance necessary to ensure that they can effectively, successfully move forward and scale their business. And, so that's a big part of, I think, what separates us, that and the lending side, the loan sizes that we offer.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Smith. I appreciate it. And we are going to stay in order. So Mike Ketzel, if you're on, and I'm happy to reread the question if you'd like.
No, that's okay. I'm not that old. I can remember the question. Although I may look that old. I mean, you never know. But so, again, WIBIC has been in business since 1987. And, we've helped roughly 71,000 people with small business needs in the state of Wisconsin. Since that time, we've loaned almost $100 million to those business owners over these past 30, 35, 36, 37 years, and helped create about 17,000 jobs in the state of Wisconsin. We really do help the underserved markets. About 70% of our portfolio are women-owned businesses. 63% of our businesses are low to moderate income. And about 60% of our businesses statewide, we serve the minority populations. However, in Milwaukee alone, that number jumps up to 90%. So 90% of our loans serve minority populations in Milwaukee. And, what we do is, we're a coaching institution. We do a lot of teaching. We do a lot of getting people off the ground. We get lots and lots of referrals from our banking partners out there that they can't service the client for whatever reason. Maybe your credit score is too low. Maybe, you don't quite fit in the box because you haven't got enough equity for your down payment. Maybe you need help with your business plan. Maybe you need help with rethinking what you're doing. Maybe you need to get your personal financial house in order. So basically, we work with you as a business owner from ground zero to get you where you go. And you become a WIBIC client, when you get a loan through our loan portfolio. And with the loan clients themselves, you have our business coaches, and we have 6 business coaches throughout the state of Wisconsin. And you are assigned a business coach for the lifetime of your loan with us. So, we do get that extra set of eyes. We look at your business plans. About 60% of the loans that we do are startups. So if you're looking for money as a startup businesses, we're kind of experts on startups. And I will tell you that out of our, we have roughly a $23 million portfolio right now. And with that portfolio, we have a 95 to 97% payback rate. And considering that 60% of our loans are startups, those numbers are incredible because of the fact, if you know anything about statistics across the United States, success rates on startups are not 95%. So, part of the magic sauce that we have at WIBIC, like other CDFIs, like Macy at the Hmong Chamber, and as well as Willie over at, the Sbdc Northwest, we offer that coaching. And that's kind of the magic sauce in what we do. So if you need the coaching, you need help, a second set of eyes, CDFI, a CDC is a great place to be.
Terrific. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for sharing. And Tammy Clendenning, as a small business owner, the advantages of working with your organization and what sets your organization apart.
Great. Thanks, Bob. So as I mentioned in the introductions, the primary programs of the SBA are capital contracting, counseling, and disaster relief. So it's in terms of capital, the access to capital programs that we have, those are generally funded through a network of lenders. So for our primary programs, the 7A and the 504 program, those are funding tools to be used for buying a business, renovating a building, working capital, buying equipment, things of that nature. And then also the 504 program is used to buy a building, to renovate a building, perhaps to buy large equipment. Those programs are done through traditional lenders, so through your banks and your credit unions that are SBA lenders. Then we also have microloans in our Community Advantage program. Microloans go up to $50,000, as Mike had mentioned. Mike is one of our SBA micro lenders. Additionally, the Community Advantage program, there's been some great changes on that year, as Mike had alluded to. That program now goes up to $350,000. That is really a mission-based program that's community focused. And so that's a great program to take advantage of if perhaps going through a traditional lender isn't the best option for you. Additionally, for our contracting, we have some really great opportunities there. Through the SBA, if you're interested in federal contracting, the SBA has a business development program that is a great tool. You will learn more about that tomorrow during the contracting session with Shane Mahaffey. Additionally, there are certifications and set-asides that are available through the SBA as well. And again, there will be more focus on that. Shane is one of our experts on that. Additionally, there is counseling and technical assistance that is available through our funded resource partner network. That includes the Small Business Development Center, or the Sbdcs. They're located at the 4-year campuses throughout the state, as well as a few other locations. We have our women's business centers. Again, WIBIC is one of those. Additionally, we have Western Wisconsin Women's Business Center up in Eau Claire. We also have our SCORE mentors. Our Veterans Business Outreach Center, or our VBOC, they are housed within the WIBIC family. And then new this year, we have our Community Navigator Network. And those are technical assistance providers that are in specific communities. So Nicolet College is one of our hubs. We also have a number of spokes around the state as well. And lastly, the SBA, the only direct lending that the SBA does is through our disaster programs. And many of you are very familiar with those given the last couple of years. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or EIDL loan, that is one of the disaster programs. That's obviously for an economic injury related to a disaster. Then we also have a physical damage. So if say your business is hit by a tornado or flooding and there's damage to your actual property, that is under the physical disaster loan. I'd also like to mention we are currently recruiting for our Thrive program, and some of you may be familiar with our previous Emerging Leaders program. This is the new iteration of that program, and that's really a 6-month program that's really considered kind of a streetwise MBA program. This year's program will be a hybrid, so it's partially in person, partially online, and at the end of that program, a business will have a 3-year growth plan. So it's a really great opportunity. We're really excited because we got both a Green Bay and a Milwaukee cohort. Now, keep in mind that there's only 20 participants available for each of those 2 cohorts. Again, we are recruiting right now. Recruiting does end May 31st with the program beginning in July. So if you're a business who's really interested in kind of beefing up some of those skills, developing that 3-year growth plan, you've been in business for 3 years, you have $250,000 in sales and 1 employee other than the owner, and that can be a part-time employee as well. Definitely reach out to us. We'd like to tell you more about the program and perhaps get you involved if that's something you're interested in. And you can reach out to us at wisconsin@sba.gov. So thanks, Bob.
Perfect. A lot of great information. Thank you for sharing, Tammy. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Nathaniel Martinez. Mr. Martinez, what are some of the programs you offer of working with your organization, and what sets your organization apart, please?
Yeah, so I'd like to start off with 2 websites for people to write down and check out after this presentation. The first one is one where we partnered. It's called www.startinwi.com, and it's a great search portal for all kinds of different resources. They can be geographic based or tailored to the specific stage of your business or what exactly you're looking for. So great resource to look and see what's available statewide. And then for our organization, if you go to wedc.org/small business, you'll see some of our small business programs. The first one being the Main Street Bounce Back program. It's a great opportunity for entrepreneurs that seeks to spur economic well-being in communities through Wisconsin by providing a $10,000 assistance to help new or existing businesses move into and revitalize vacant commercial properties. The other program that you'll see on there is Export Tech, and it's a great opportunity for businesses that manufacture and produce items that they can sell overseas. It helps them to identify markets and opportunities to access those markets globally. There's another one that I'd also like to point out called the QNBV, the Qualified New Business Venture Program, which helps to incent equity investment in technology-based businesses in the state of Wisconsin. So as you can see, just from a handful of our programs, we have resources that can assist businesses, small and ranging from programs that can incent investors for startups, as well as major site redevelopment resources. Here at WDC, there's a number of programs to assist business owners in various stages of their business, and our programs also allow us to partner with local municipalities to help businesses offset their development costs. So that's one of the unique things that we do is there's programs where a city, a town, or a village can apply on behalf of a business or a development project to bring some additional resources to help that business or development project through. So a lot of exciting things that we do, but again, we also partner with a lot of different organizations out there to assist small businesses.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Martinez. I appreciate your time. Great information. And then I'm going to turn to my next question. And Macy, I'm going to ask you to kick it off once again. As a small business owner, what can I do to prepare, or what can I bring on our first meeting so that we have a successful meeting?
Sure. So those who may want to get in touch with us for some type of service, whether it's technical assistance or for lending, possibly, they will typically get in touch with us either by giving us a call, sending us an email at our site at info@hmongchamber.org. Or we also have a link on our website at hmongchamber.org where you can submit, just at your inquiry. What is it that we can help you with? Once we receive that, one of our staff members, depending what the question is or what the need is, will get back with you. And let's just say if someone's coming to us for technical assistance, they need some support in starting a business or growing their business. I would say certainly come with your ideas, have something written down, and what your questions are. If that information was not already provided in the inquiry that was submitted, if there was one that was submitted. If it is a question about potential lending dollars, wanting to take out a loan, I would certainly say, come prepared with, any sort of financial statements that you might have. Come prepared with, in any income tax information, the documents that you might have had from the last few years, as well as any information that you might have about, your business, or if that does already exist. So I'll go ahead and stop there. I will also say one thing I didn't mention already is that when it comes to technical assistance, we really help anyone who come through our doors and call us. So we don't limit our services only to those from historically underserved communities in terms of technical assistance. Now, however, when it comes to the lending part, and as well as networking opportunities, the lending is a little different just because of the criteria, the expectations of our own funders that make it possible for us to provide a revolving loan fund. So so those would be more limited to the historically underserved communities. However, like I said, the TA and networking opportunities and so forth are certainly open to really anyone. And I just want to also piggyback off of what Mike had said earlier, that I really truly believe that it's because of the technical assistance we provide that many of us have default rates, lending default rates that are very low, nearly zero at HWCC. And like I said, the TA is certainly a huge part of that.
Absolutely, the importance of technical assistance. Mr. Willie Smith, the same question as well. As a business owner, what can I do to prepare so that we have a successful meeting, either prepare or bring to our first meeting?
I will say nothing. Typically what we do is basically try to get an understanding of the business. If you think about the fact that the majority of the businesses we work with are existing businesses, there's not like a business plan that they'd be bringing us necessarily. They could bring financials, but honestly, we don't ask for them initially. We try to gauge where the business is at. We ask a number of probing questions to, gain some understanding as to where they are, to see how much they understand about their business, and honestly, to determine if they're humble enough to listen to advice and the support that we would provide to them on an ongoing basis. So it's really, I'd say, the biggest test in our meeting is honestly just kind of getting an understanding of the character of the individual we're working with, and to gain some understanding of how they operate their business. That is number one, and that determines which direction we move forward with the client, which way we go. Honestly, what additional work they might need to do, whether that mean they end up working with us and another organization, or maybe there's some pre-work that need to be done. We figure all of that out up front. And, if things go really well in the first meeting, then we'll send out a link, and the application. But typically it starts out with just a conversation and us just talking and gaining some understanding as to what the business is and what the individual owner is interested in doing. Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. You talked about the importance of character and understanding what the customer's needs are, which certainly is important. So I appreciate that. Lots of good information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Third one I'm going to go to is Mr. Mike Ketzel. Mike, same question as well. As a business owner, what can I do to prepare, or what can I bring so that we have a successful meeting?
I'm going to kind of equate this like going to your annual physical or going for whatever you want to do. Before you do that, you tend to eat better. You tend to maybe lose a couple of pounds. You tend to do all the things you want to do so you look good when you're going for your physical. Well, it's kind of the same thing when you come in to see somebody who's going to help you with your business. You're kind of going to go to somebody who knows what recommendations to do and kind of how to guide you through things. So what you need to do is you need to have a business plan. And you need to have that thought out. If you haven't, you really need to get one before you come to talk to a lender, because a lender is going to expect to look at numbers. They're going to expect to look at tax returns. They're going to expect to look at, have you got any equity into the deal? Because we're always going to have to put skin in the game. Is there anything you have? There are many folks that apply for loans with us that unfortunately, they don't think that they need to put any equity into the loan. So if, let's say, we require 5% down, or with an SBA loan, you got to have 10% down. A lot of people haven't planned for that. And so, when you come for the first meeting, you need to kind of, just do all the things you think you would need to do. It's the same thing as going to talk to somebody, for example, if you're going to buy a house, you're going for a home loan, you're going to bring financial information along. Well, it's the same thing you're going to do when you're applying for a business loan. Except now you have to think of the business loan as when you get that article of incorporation for your business, you're giving birth to a brand new entity. So you now have to understand in your mind how that thing is going to wind up being self-sufficient, how it's going to eat by itself in the next 12 months or so, and how it's going to help you make income so you can make your mortgage payment. And, so how you can pay employees. So all those things have to be thought about because, you know, going into a business for yourself is not a small task to do. There's a lot of responsibility in there, and we're going to help guide you to where you need to be. But you have to kind of come prepared and take as many classes as you can on how to write a business plan, how to get your personal financial house in order. You know, what types of businesses do you need, do you want? What's the structure going to be? Try to talk with people that, you know, might be your centers of influences. Talk with your accountant, talk with an attorney, talk with bankers, everybody out there that maybe can give you a little bit of help and a little bit of insight, because the more information you have, the more powerful your business is going to really kind of be. And, you know, we want you to succeed. We're not going to do a loan if we don't think you're going to succeed. So we may send you back to the drawing table even after you come and apply for a loan, because, you know, we need to make sure that, you know, what you've got, you know, we've got a good chance of seeing if you're going to make it right. It's going to work.
Perfect. A lot of good information. Thank you so much, Mike. Next, I'm going to ask Tammy McClendon to come on. And as a small business owner, what can I do to prepare or bring so that we have a successful meeting?
Thanks, Bob. As you've heard from the prior panelists, there really is a wide range of preparation that is expected. So it really kind of depends on the lender that you're working with. And so my first bit of advice would be to really understand the lender that you're working with. And a great way to do that is to work with one of our resource partners. Those funded SBA resource partners work with you on a no-cost basis, and they can help you as you prepare to go to a lender for financing. They can help you if a business plan is required. They can help you put financial statements together. They can really kind of help you prepare so that you have the best opportunity as you meet with whoever the individual lender is that you're working with, or multiple lenders if you're talking to multiple parties as well, because sometimes that is required, especially with newer businesses. Sometimes it might take you a couple shots at the dartboard, if you will, to try to find the right lender to work with you. Each and every lender is different in not only what they require, but what types of loans they want to do, what types of businesses they want to work with. And so that's why working with one of those resource partners, they pretty much know most of the lenders and the lending programs that are available. And so they can kind of help you tailor your package to work with that individual lender. But I guess kind of going off what Mike said, I would say preparation is the best. You want to make sure you've got as much information as you can, because these lenders, they want you to be successful, but they also want to get paid back for whatever money they lend to you. And so the more information that you can provide to them that demonstrates your ability to repay them for the money that they lend to you, that's going to help you be successful.
Beautiful. Well said. Thank you, Tammy. Appreciate all the input. Last but not least, I'm going to go back to Nathaniel Martinez. Mr. Martinez, once again, as a small business owner, what can I do or bring so that we have a successful meeting?
Yeah, so I'd say two key things: know your business, know your project. As far as your business goes, what's your experience in the industry? We want to see that you kind of understand what the operations are and have some experience successfully doing that. What's your market for your product or your service? Have you tested your concept? Is this something that you've tried out a little bit and you found that people find value in what you offer? Kind of like the last question that we had, what sets you apart from your competitors? So what's your advantage? What are you doing that people are willing to pay for your product or service over what's already out in the market? And then what was mentioned at last, one of the most important things when you're looking for a loan is, will you have the ability to repay it? So having the financials that'll show that ability, but also when you're doing financials, putting in realistic numbers, factoring in, is there a seasonality to your business? Are you going to sell more in a specific time period versus another, depending on how weather impacts your business? The other thing about knowing your project. So back in my former life, working for City of Milwaukee and administering grants for neighborhood revitalization or projects where you're investing in brick and mortar improvements. Are there any permitting or licensing issues that does the community support your use, or is that going to be required? Are you matching your expenses to your sources of funding? So that's an important one. If you're investing in machinery and equipment with a 3 to 5 year kind of shelf life, are you amortizing that with a 3 or 5 year loan versus paying cash and eating that up pretty quickly. So thinking about matching your uses to your sources. And then the biggest thing that I would notice at the city, which really would play a role in the success of a project, one, getting completed on time, and two, actually getting to the finish line. Have you fully identified the total cost of your project? So that's a really key thing, and that comes from having a strong sense of how to manage the project, or hiring the right people to manage the project that you're doing, and identifying all the costs, both what it's for the physical materials, the labor, as well as all the things like your architect, your legal, other things of that nature. So once you fully identify the project costs, have you really identified all the funding that you've needed for the project? Certain organizations may have a cap or a limit on how much they can lend. So with all the equity that you have, as well as your primary lender, what they're able to offer you, are there still other resources out there that you may need to identify, whether they be grants or maybe it's a secondary lender? So to me, that's a key thing, is just knowing your total costs and having those all planned in advance, so there's no delays. If you're going as you go and then all of a sudden you run out of funding, you don't want to be in that position where you're looking for more financing when you already have some loan commitments that you have to pay off. So those would be my words of advice for seeing everybody successful.
Very good. Thank you, Nathaniel. It is all about great advice, and certainly we have the industry experts here from several different organizations, so I hope everyone is enjoying the roundtable discussion. Macy, I'm going to let you come back on. I have another question for you. When looking at an alternative sources of funding, what parameters or information do you take into consideration to get a loan approval?
Sure. Thanks, Bob, for the question. At a traditional lender, they're going to look at, at the 5 C's, right? Character, capacity, capital, collateral, conditions. And we do that as well as an alternative or non-traditional lender. However, I would say we more heavily focus on the character of the individual. I like the way, one of my colleagues said earlier, I think it was Willie who said, we do look at and listen to whether or not the person is going to take our advice, and do they seem like this is something they really want to do, and they're in terms of starting this business. We look at the whole person. I'd like to put it that way. We look at the whole person. Are there patterns of improvement in terms of their credit, for example? Are they realistic in their numbers? And what the future might look like for this business? Where's the location that they're going to have this business? So while we do look at all 5 C's, I would say that we're more heavily focused on the character and in the person's drive, I guess you could say, to be successful in their business. Ultimately, our goal is really to hopefully help. Should I say, take a step back. Even if someone isn't approved for a loan through us, we don't just say, well, too bad, too sad. We say, okay, well, let's take a look at this. What can we do to continue to help you prepare to hopefully get yourself approved in the future? If that is something they're willing to take into consideration and to continue to work with us with, that's what we will do. Because ultimately, our hope is that not only could they get a loan from us, but ultimately to graduate from our program or from us and to go to really any lender that they want to in the future as they grow their business and get a loan from them too.
Perfect. Beautifully said. Thank you, Macy. All right, I'm going to go to our second panelist, Mr. Willie Smith. Willie, when looking at alternative sources of funding, what parameters or information do you take into consideration to get a loan approval?
Sure. I have to piggyback off of what Macy stated. We basically look at everything the banks look at. When we find the issues that typically a bank would deny someone for, though, the question is, can we get past that? Does this individual have a plan to get past that? Does this deal make sense? And again, it goes back to character. That's the number one. If all the other pieces are in place and there's an issue with the character, because we're lending money for the business, but we're lending money to an individual or to an operator or to the leader of the organization. And it is important that we have someone that we know that we can work with and who's have the drive, ambition, and passion to really move things forward. So I would say that that would be the key. You know, just us. You know, we look at everything everyone else looks at as far as the banks go, but it's, you know, how do we get past some of the obstacles? Sometimes we'll, you know, we can take less equity injections, so we might do 10%, where, you know, the bank might want 20% or more even. So there are concessions that we make to assist individual business owners. But again, you know, character and the individuals being the key decision maker, in my opinion, as to whether or not we move forward with deals or not.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing.
No
Mr. Mike Ketzel, same thing as looking at alternative sources of funding. What parameters or information do you take into consideration to get a loan approved?
Well, I don't want to sound redundant here, but I'm going to say the same thing that both Willie and Macy said. You know, we look at character, you know, because, you know, the people that come to see us, more than likely they've gone to their bank already, and their bank said, no, sorry, we can't help you, and why don't you go see the folks over at Northwest CDC or Hmong Chamber or WIBIC. And, you know, if they can get financing at a bank, we encourage them to do that. And, you know, one of the questions we have to ask as an SBA lender through the various SBA programs we use is, can you get credit elsewhere? I mean, can you get credit from a traditional bank? And if the answer is yes, they should go to the bank, because first of all, they're going to maybe get a lower rate. They're going to get better terms. They're going to have not quite so many restrictions, not so many covenants. And so, you know, it's really kind of taking a look at the long lens on this, because all the people that come to see us, again, if they would be able to get financing at a bank, they'd be there. We have to look at what's the alternative to this, and how can we get creative to put this together that we feel comfortable with the loan, and yet our clients feel comfortable with the loan. So there's got to be that level of, okay, we understand this, talk us through it. In fact, for all of our loans above $50,000, we have a once a month loan committee that we take all of our loans to, and we actually invite our clients to the loan committee. So that way our loan committee members who approve all of our larger loans, they can actually talk to the client, because, you know, not every one of our clients look really good on paper. And the reason that the bank couldn't do the loan is because the bank said they didn't look good on paper. So we've got to have somebody help them and get them through and talk to them, have them understand what they need to do. And a lot of times when these folks come to our loan committee, and, you know, it really seals the loan, because the people see what passion that these folks, and that's really the key to the whole thing. You have passion for what you do. You've got an answer for how to get through all the challenges you may have. Or, you know, you've got a great explanation as to how you're going to overcome that problem that you have, as to maybe why you couldn't get financing at the bank. And, you know, all those things, again, it all revolves around character. It all revolves around, do you know what you're doing? Do you have confidence? Do you have passion? So, you know, it's kind of a roundabout story, but it's the same thing that Macy and Willie just said. It's like it's the character issues, and it's being able to look past whatever obstacles that they had that they couldn't really get traditional bank financing for.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mike. It's all about telling the story, isn't it? For being able to explain your business with passion. Tammy, thank you for jumping right on. That was perfect. So as looking at alternative sources of funding, what parameters or information do you take into consideration for loan approval?
Yeah, so great question. You can see that there's a very common theme here. So the CDFIs and the alternative lenders that you're hearing from today and that we work with on a regular basis, they're really not bound by the same rules and restrictions and regulations that your traditional lenders, your banks and your credit unions are. So they look at things a little bit differently, and they have a little bit more flexibility in some of the things that they can do. One of the regular sentiments that I hear from the alternative lenders is, you know, obviously we've really talked about character, so I'm not going to focus on that, but a part of that character is really a willingness, an openness, a vulnerability, a coachability for the owner of the business. The alternative lenders, the CDFIs, they really are looking for those characteristics in the owner of a business, because they know that they can help them, so they can provide them with additional skill sets. I mean, I say this all the time, I don't know everything. So maybe I'm really, really strong in marketing, but maybe finance isn't my area of expertise. Well, all these CDFIs have technical assistance providers on staff that really can help you beef up those skills. So if you're coachable and you're willing and you have an openness to be able to work with their consultants and really kind of look at some of those skill sets, that's really a big part of the program that you get with these CDFIs. And so that's definitely a part of the character that they're looking at from everything that I've heard from them.
Absolutely. Thank you for clarifying. That's awesome news. So thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate your time. And then last, I'm going to go back to Nathaniel Martinez. Mr. Martinez, same question as well. When looking at alternative sources of funding, what parameters or information do you take into consideration to get a loan approval?
I'll just say that you can tell when you're on a good panel when your last speaker and you don't have to add too much, that all the great things have already been covered. So I definitely appreciate that. But one of the more unique things in a lot of the programs that I've worked in the past, which tend to be, community resources and grant opportunities, there's two things that haven't been discussed that would probably help with a private lender as well as when you're applying for grants. So two of the key things are going to be community impact and financial needs. So talking a little bit more about community impact, are you going to be creating jobs? Are these, and what quality of job? What do they pay per hour? And how is that going to impact the neighborhood? Are you planning to hire from people directly from the same area code or neighborhood? That can help to tell a good story. How does the product or service that you offer through this new business in the area add to and or enhance the quality of life? And particularly when you're going into a corridor that may have seen disinvestment, does it eliminate blight or other things that really take down the perception of the neighborhood? So talking up the community impact about what your project or what your business will do for the area can definitely help when you're applying for these programs. And in many cases, that's one of the things that they ask you to speak on. The other thing would be the financial need. And when the private market works, great. We love that. We support that all day. The government or municipalities don't necessarily need to be involved in every single business. And where we really want to help out too is where there's a historical disinvestment, whether it's in certain communities or groups of entrepreneurs, to ensure that with that support and with those incentives, we can help support economic well-being for all communities. So I think those are two kind of key things to play up when you are going for grant opportunities through local municipalities, or even when you're working with an organization like WEDC.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nathaniel. That about wraps up our time for the panel. I want to thank everybody personally for some great information, sharing all the tremendous information out there that's available, what your organizations do, which is so critical to meeting our community's needs. So I personally want to thank Tammy Clendenning. I appreciate all the information as well. Mr. Willie Smith, Nathaniel Martinez, Michael Ketzel, and Macy Herr. So before we go, I would just like, even though your names and contact information are in the agenda, I would just like you to start by just sharing your contact information. I know a lot of times people are making notes while they're watching the panel. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing your information. Once again, Macy.
Oops. Oh, my apologies. So you can certainly reach me at Macy, MAYSEE @hmongchamber.org. You can also reach us at our phone number, here at the office, area code 414-645-8828.
Thank you so much. Willie Smith. Whoops, you need to.
I muted myself instead of unmuting myself. Okay. I could be reached via email wsmith@nwscdc.org, or I could be reached via phone 414-447-8210. And our website has all that information, and that's nwscdc.org.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Willie. I appreciate it. Number 3, Mike Ketzel, if you're available. Share your contact information.
Sure, yeah, probably the best way to get a hold of me or any of the lenders here with it, because we do have 6, is to actually go to our website. And that is the best way to contact, because all those leads then, for people that are interested, come to me. And then I can disseminate them amongst the troops. However, if you want to contact me, it's my name, Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L dot, last name is Hetzel, rhymes with pretzel. So it's H-E-T-Z-E-L. So it's michael.hetzel@wwbic.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mike. Tammy, best way to reach you as well. Should anyone have any specific questions?
Great, thanks. Well, the spelling of my name is a bit challenging, so we'll make it really easy, and we'll just say, if you want to reach out to us, email us at wisconsin@sba.gov. So that's wisconsin@sba.gov. And the great thing about that is that allows us to be able to disperse the email to the proper person, because I know a little bit about the government contracting, but I'm certainly not the expert. So if somebody's going to be sending us information on that, I'll get them to the right person. So again, wisconsin@sba.gov. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tammy. And then Nathaniel Martinez. Mr. Martinez, best way to contact you, should anyone have any questions?
And I shared it in the chat, so hopefully that can go out to everyone. Phone number is going to be 608-210-6792. Once again, 608-210-6792. Email Nathaniel, Nathaniel.Martinez@wdc.org. And then also, to stay up to date on the latest and greatest, check our newsletters at wdc.org/newsletters.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone, all the great information that was shared. This is really a time that we are able to launch going forward with so much information, talking about technical assistance, knowing your business, understanding your numbers, etc. But if anyone has any questions, please make sure to reach out to one of our terrific partners today. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you all for attending this session, and thank you to this hour speaker. We will take a short break and return at the top of the hour for the next session, 6 ways to work with a mentor, a panel discussion.
Testing 1, 2. Terrence, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good.
How about on your end?
Yeah, good. Real good. Oh, Anna.
Excellent.
Hello.
Hello, Anna. How you doing?
David, do you see me?
No. I see Anna and Terrence and the agenda.
David, can you hear Peter Bushman?
If that's the, yep, I see you.
Great.
How's everyone doing this morning? It's still morning.
Excellent. Excellent.
Good.
Hello, Wesley. Hello, Greg.
How's it going, David?
Hello, Wesley and Greg.
What on, Terrence? How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. You biking yet?
Didn't get out this past weekend. 2 weeks ago, we got out. The weather put a halt to that this weekend, but it's supposed to be dry this weekend, so we're getting out.
I didn't know if anything stopped you.
Only cold and wet. The combination of the two aren't good on the bike.
Good seeing you again, man.
Good seeing you too.
I'm not gonna ask if Greg is staying out of trouble, so I won't ask that, but
you know the answer to that.
Exactly.
Hello and welcome to the Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Academy. Before we begin, a reminder that the resource directory is available on the website sbeacademy.com. This hour session is 6 ways to work with a mentor, a panel discussion. Just a quick reminder that we will take Q&A at the end of the session. You are free to enter questions into GoToWebinar at any time. At this time, I would like to turn over the session to David Kersher. David, good morning.
Morning. Thank you. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Dave Kircher, founder, owner of Phoenix Financial Advisors. My background is 20 years in commercial banking, followed by 20 years in government lending. And 6 years ago, I started on my own with Phoenix Financial Advisors. And in that role, I consult with business entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, growing entrepreneurs, and assist in accessing resources for funding. I've worked with many of your organizations, but I'm going to leave it to industry experts here on our panel. So welcome, audience, welcome panel. Anna is with AFS Research, President CEO. Terrence is with Among Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. Terrence and I work together on many projects and have a very good mentoring relationship, should I say. Greg Martin is with the Sbdc. I've worked with Greg in the past when he was an independent entrepreneur in his own right and brings his talent to the Sbdc. Peter Bushman represents SCORE out of the Marshfield area. SCORE, as you may know, is a statewide organization funded by the state of Wisconsin and the SBA for mentoring. Who am I missing? Wesley. Wesley's small business or business banking specialist with US Bank. Welcome to you all. Just in general, regarding mentors, there are different sessions on financing and resource partners and whatnot, but mentoring can be delivered through many different touches and organizations. You may generally hear the term technical assistance. Mentors and technical assistance providers can come from organizations like WIBIC, SCORE, the statewide Sbdc, bankers like Wesley, attorneys, accountants, consultants, private advisors like Phoenix Financial Advisors. There's an advisor in the independent advisor I'm familiar with in the Appleton area, Fox Valley, Tony Bush, whose company is Prior Cash Flow. Tony is a retired banker. So many sources. For the panel, we're just going to run down individually. You're going to get panelists, you're going to get about 5 to 7 minutes before we pull the hook on you. Just explain, give a little who you are, give your background, and a little bit about the scope of your services. So let's start off with Wesley and US Bank. Take it away, Wesley.
Thanks a lot, David. As he said, I'm Wesley McKenzie, work with US Bank. I'm a business banking specialist, so that entails anything that a business may need, from an account, merchant processing, lending needs, or any type of advising service, not limited to financial services, but because I work with businesses, I know a host of businesses, so I can be a great resource for people trying to get involved in business or trying to improve their business or grow it in any means. And now, David, is this just an introduction, or am I getting started on the mentorship talk as well?
No, roll right into the mentorship service.
Okay. So in looking for a mentor, I would say the first thing that you want to look for is you want to find someone that's done twice what you're trying to do once. So if you are looking to start a business, you want to find someone that started and maintained and run a successful business. And if they've, if they started and maintained one for years, they don't necessarily have to have done it twice, but at least they've done it 2 years and they're successful at it. You want to find a successful mentor. I would say we've heard the old adage, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And it's one thing, some people say they found a mentor and some people say that the mentor found them. So when you are, I liken it to when we've all seen someone on the side of the road broken down in their car. And, sometimes you see people that are sitting in their car and it just looks like they're waiting on help. And then you see the other person, male or female, where they've gotten out and they're trying to push the car. The person that's trying to push the car is more likely to get help than the person that's just sitting in the car. So when someone sees you working and they see you doing everything that you can do prior to asking for help or asking for assistance, that's when someone will step in and say, hey, have you tried this? Or hey, have you done that? When you are looking for a mentor, one of the things you want to make sure is that you are open and honest. You want to have someone that you will be honest with. It does no good if you go talk to someone about your finances and you don't tell them that your business is making all this money and you're doing this and everything is great, but you've got $50,000 worth of personal debt that you're taking from the business and using to pay down. So if you aren't going to be completely honest with your mentor, I think that's not going to be the best fit. In terms of a mentor, we all want someone that's successful, hardworking, intelligent. We want somebody that's, very well known in their field. They're doing what they do well. And one thing that most of those people have in common is that they don't have a lot of extra time. So when you do find a mentor, or you do get access to a mentor, make sure that you come to the meeting prepared, have the questions that you want to ask or things that you need help with mapped out. Don't come in and, of course, small talk and breaking the ices. You don't want to come in right away like an interrogation, but you want to get to the point, and you don't want to waste their time or yours, because their time is valuable. Their time is how they make money. And you want to be able to be accountable to that mentor. So you want to find someone that you listen to. If they tell you that's a bad deal, don't do it. Don't do the deal. Because if there's a reason that they're telling you that it's a bad deal, they probably took that deal similar to that, they probably took a deal similar to that in the past, and it didn't turn out good for them. So yeah, it may look good to you up front, but they know on the back end it's not going to work out well for you. And when you're evaluating your business, or when you're looking at what you're trying to do or whatever it is, the area that you want mentorship in, when you step on the scale of whatever you think it is you're trying to do, however great you think it is, or however much you think this baby of yours weighs, when you put it on the scale, let the mentor look at the scale. You may think this is a 30-pound walleye, and the mentor looks up, hey, that's a 5-pound perch. You got to throw that back. It needs a little bit more time to develop. This is not what you want to do. It's not that it's a mentor is someone that can keep your dream from becoming a nightmare. They can look at some of the potholes or pitfalls that you may not see coming up because you're so excited about the idea and you're so excited about what you want to do. It's like your mentor should almost be your personal Shark Tank. It's not that you've got a bad idea, it just needs some more work. You just need to tweak some things. You're not really realistic about the valuation of what you're trying to do. You may not be ready for that yet. Yeah, you may want $5 million to help me start this business and to help me do this. Well, that's probably not the best idea. We're not ready for that yet. Let's start with 25,000 and let's start with 50,000 and see how we do there. So I think the thing in terms of looking for a mentor, you want to find someone that you're going to listen to, someone that's already done what you're trying to do, and someone that is someone that you can be accountable to. Someone that if they tell you no, regardless of how bad you want to do it or how much you like the deal or whatever it is you're thinking about doing, if someone tells you no, you'll actually listen to what they're telling you to do.
Wesley, you raised some great points there. Open and straight up communication to be most effective as a client, to listen and absorb what your mentor, what your coach is advising you. Wesley gets many applications for money, and probably the toughest challenge is that first meeting with how is the client prepared. And if you have to send the client back out the door, I'm getting a little smile out of that one. If you have to send the client out the door with that checklist of what they need to do, if they want to achieve their dream, they should follow sound advice. Let's move on to, let's move to Terrence, because we're talking about lending here and preparation. Terrence and I are working on an exercise right now where the client is a little bit of a challenge, but we're offering to help, but the client has to be a three-way partner in this deal if they're going to get their funding. But go ahead, Terrence, why don't you tell us about a little bit about your background and the services of the Hmong Chamber.
All right, hello, everyone. My name is Terrence Moore, Business Development Specialist at the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. Just a little background, 25 years of professional development, professional leadership. I've had failed businesses and successful businesses, so potholes I am very familiar with. Advised and consulted nonprofit businesses as well as for-profit businesses, micro and mid-sized businesses. So just have a great depth of experience in that aspect of it, background in financial literacy as well as business literacy. And a lot of my focus have been on, especially in the area of minority entrepreneurship, because a lot of we just have this reality that, you know, in our background, in our culture, and many of the minority cultures, we haven't really been exposed to entrepreneurship or financial literacy, let alone business literacy. So coming with that understanding, I take a lot of time with any client that I do have. And a lot of things that we tackle are the financials. A lot of things that we tackle are marketing. Some of the things that we tackle, you know, some of the things like, you know, what is your business? Do you know the trends of your business? So, you know, breaking those things down, sometimes to its smallest possible component, and then building it back up really helps. But I like what Wesley has said. You know, you have to be very honest in what you're doing. You have to be very transparent. Being a business mentor means that, you know, you're ready to, as we say, you have to be ready to take the cut. You have to be ready to take the constructive criticism. You can't be in your feelings too much because this is business. And when you're dealing with your clients or customers, unfortunately, you know, the client or the customer may not care whether you have personal things going on. You have a product or a service that they need. So really being able to help that person really transition from sometimes just a hobby, or I hate the word side hustle, to really a business. Because one of the things that we have noticed especially in this area of entrepreneurship is every time you say side hustle, there's this mentality that you don't have to operate it like a business. And when you're taking someone from a side hustle mentality and then taking it to a business mentality, there's usually this huge barrier that you're having to just punch through, whether it's, you know, business planning, strategic planning, taxes, you know, and those types of things. So we're, you know, having to do a lot of teaching and understanding, you know, the business of the entrepreneur, And one of the things that, another thing that I really focus on when working with our clients or with someone they're working with is, do you understand the business of your business? You know, you're a fantastic cook, but do you understand the business of hospitality? Do you understand the business of tracking? Do you understand the business and the things that's going on in or do you know your competitor? Do you know your regional competitor? What is your competitive edge? Do you understand the business of your business? And having to break that down usually is sometimes trying, because they're saying, hey, I'm a great cook, but you don't know how to handle the books, or you don't know how to interact with customers or vendors. You don't have certain things in order. So you know, along with that, with doing, you know, we're having to do that with our clients at the chamber and bring that sort of reality of what it really takes. And in addition to, you know, every culture is different. The African American culture is different. The Hmong and Asian culture is different in their perspective of business. So having to really understand the culture of that particular culture is that's something that I love. And I learned a lot from that. So I integrate that in the teaching. I integrate that in the technical assistance. I integrate that in bridging that gap, because sometimes, let's just say a first generation entrepreneur that's here, they're not used to having things in QuickBooks. Things are done in cash. They ship things from their relative overseas. And of course, in our structure, we want everything perfect and everything in alignment. But luckily, we're a CDFI, and luckily we look at character, and luckily we look at culture. So we're able to integrate those things in our business decision, and also make that a teaching moment for our client. So again, there's that teachability, being accountable, being able to really kind of lead them around some of the potential pitfalls, and bringing that experience and professionalism to the table with them. And again, transparency is key, because I need to know that I can trust what's coming out of your mouth as you're coming to trust what's coming out of my mouth.
Good points, Terrence. I often do panel presentations on access to capital, and if you listen to a banker or any lender, there's the 3 C's or the 5 C's or the 7 C's of lending, depending on which Bible you're working from. But culture and character is truly a key component as an entrepreneur, as an individual versus a Fortune 500 company that's working with their treasury department. You're doing all the work, and you have to be prepared for all the work. And no matter what the character and culture and background, it all comes down to those fundamentals that need to be put together. And that's what the mentor can help you round out. What part of that business plan are you missing and you need help with? And that's where we, as all mentors, reach out. If it's not in my wheelhouse, I can reach out to Wesley or Terrence or Greg and Anna and Peter as well, and we can help out as a team. A good mentor is going to reach out to other resources. Let's bring in Anna, AFF Research, and give us a little background. Give us what you do.
Well, we are the administrators for the we are co-creators and administrators for the Green Bay Packers Mentor Protege program. And that particular program is more formal, because what we've discussed, and I like what was brought on the table, Wesley and Terrence, it's more or less more informal mentoring, because you're going and you're asking for advice from your banker, extremely important for another advisor, where the Green Bay Packers Mentor Protege program is more formalized, and it is a structured mentoring program compared to more advisory, finding an advisor or finding a person who can give you advice as you're running. So this particular program, and I will talk about the program just to make sure that, for the people in the audience, they understand what is the difference between formalized and not formalized. And I know SCORE, they have formalized mentoring also. So the way this program works, in fact, we are in our 12th year of existence of this program, is we work with businesses who are beyond the startup stage. We usually will find them a mentor or a coach. It's kind of everything is replicated with the football terminology. We will find them a coach for 12 months, and that particular coach will coach them as they're running their business. Again, this particular program is beyond the startup stage businesses. So you're running your business, you meet with your mentor. and you ask advice, and that's the way pretty much we're trying to push you to scale up. And I really like the fact that you've talked about, I think Wesley was talking about, and Lawrence, when you come to the meeting, you have to be prepared. Of course, we are giving them the tools to make sure that you have an agenda, you have your goals, all these things when you meet with your mentor, because it is extremely important. You don't want to waste anyone's time, even your own time, because you're running hard and you want to scale up your business. So mentorship is extremely important. This particular program focuses on minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses, LGBTQ-owned businesses, so diverse small businesses. 87% of participants in this program are of this particular diverse background. However, the program is very inclusive. This is the way the Packers are giving back to the community. We are in fact, we have participants in Green Bay, in Milwaukee, in Madison. We recently expanded, but we do have participants from all over Wisconsin. So it is extremely important to have a mentor. I'm a firm believer in the mentorship. I'm more of a hardcore mentor believer, because the way I have been in my business, because I have been in business for 17 years, I have been extremely successful because of the mentors I have in my life, and I continue to have mentors. A lot of times, and you heard that, they will tell you that the truth which you sense, but you don't want to hear. But you have to make sure that you take the advice to move on if you would like to be successful. If you don't want to be successful, you can always find a person to tell you, hey, everything looks great, and I will guarantee you that you will not be moving your business ahead. So that's pretty much what I can say. And find a mentor. You heard, even if it's informal program, find a mentor. You have your bankers, you have your insurance, you have your attorney, you have some other consultants. If you don't want to enter into some of the more formalized program, it is important, because your coach or your mentor is there to hold you accountable. Extremely important, because it's kind of going to the gym. You go to the gym, I know you know what you can do, but if you have a personal trainer, you know you will be doing it. So accountability is a huge portion of having a mentor. So with that, I will let the other people add to.
Anna, you mentioned that in the nature of your work, you in fact additionally match up mentors.
That's
what
right.
are the sources of those mentors? Where do you find the mentors to help your clients?
In fact, we have a lot of mentors who would like to participate, because what will happen is the mentors themselves, they have a benefit of mentoring some of these small businesses, because we do have a lot of our mentors are large companies. And I'll give you an example. We have Schreiber Foods, we have KI, we have Northwestern Mutual, we have large companies who are our mentors. So we work with them, and a lot of the participants, from the mentor's perspective, again, they gain of being a mentor. So that's, if I can answer that question, yes, we have a lot of mentors who are willing and would like to give back to the community.
So if I may put it in other words, you're reaching out to the corporate community in a greater Green Bay area and beyond, as far as your reach goes, somewhat like SCORE,
Yes.
execs who have experience, professional experience in their field.
Absolutely. Yes. And we work collaboratively. Just to give you an example, we work with SCORE, we work with Sbdc. We have 3 mentors right now from Sbdc. Everything is collaborative. We are trying to enhance the current entrepreneur ecosystem in Wisconsin. So as you can imagine, I know that we're talking about Green Bay Packers. They're located in Green Bay. Wisconsin. However, they're a state team. So that is what Mark Murphy believes in. So that is the willingness to make sure that we have and we impact, especially businesses with diverse background.
Another good point you raise is the fact that there are other organizations that cooperate. State of Wisconsin has a very strong culture of supporting small business. For an aspiring entrepreneur or somebody coming out of school with an idea and their first challenge is, who do I talk to? And I always tell people, talk to somebody. Call one of these people on this panel to get started. And depending on where you are in your journey, we can lead you, we can help you down the path.
And I mean, I just wanted to add one other thing is because with this program, we are trying also to enhance, we work with the WPI all the time, and we're trying to enhance the innovation. And just to give you an example, we have these huddles. As you can imagine, everything's football related again, where we have companies from different backgrounds participating in this particular conversations. And because of that, and because of this innovative approach we have, a lot of the companies can scale up. I will give you an example. We have a software company, young entrepreneur, who is fabulous with software developing. And he was in the same huddle, in the same discussion, roundtable discussion with a welding shop owner. And because of this one advice, he was able to acquire a company from California. And right now he's expanding in Asia and South America. So you don't know from where the next advice will come to you and how you can expand your business. So thank you.
Going back to that first meeting with clients, the mentor is assessing where you are, and they're, you know, as an entrepreneur, you want help. We're not putting you through the gauntlet to make it hard on you. We're there to help you navigate to get through the process. So that first meeting is not a shakedown. It's the beginning of the journey, and you get your assignment, and then that second meeting is really the roll up your sleeves. But in between and subsequent to that second meeting, the responsibility is you as the entrepreneur, as the aspiring business person, to do the work. We can only provide guidance. We can lead you to the water and all of that. Greg, why don't you fill us in with the services of the Sbdc? And you've got a great background in experience with business and lending with WIBIC and so on. So take it away, Greg.
All right. Thank you, Dave. My name is Greg Martin. I'm with the UWM Sbdc program here in Milwaukee. Been with them a little bit over 10 months, and we provide counseling services for startup businesses and small businesses that are looking to grow and develop. Prior to that, as Dave mentioned, I was a loan officer for about 2 years with WIBIC, also focusing in on small businesses and providing capital and financial support for them. And prior to that, for about 25 years, I owned and operated my own business here in Milwaukee. In terms of mentorship, I like one of the things that Mr. McKenzie pointed out was that mentors look for people that are trying to help themselves and working themselves, and that is very important. In my years as a business owner, a young business owner. I started when I was 25 in a family business. I was able to pick up a lot of mentors along the way because they saw that I was serious about what I was doing and I was a hard worker. And that's very important for a mentor to see, is because you want somebody that is successful. And if they're successful, they've worked hard in their life and they know what it takes, and they know it when they see it in someone else. And no one wants to spend that time mentoring somebody if they're not serious. So most successful business owners, they received help along the way, getting started, and they take helping others, most of them, very seriously, and they want to do that. So they're always on the lookout for that young person that reminds them a little bit of themselves, and they can say, well, I helped this person because, and they'll tell you a lot of them, because somebody helped me in the past and somebody did this for me, and that's why I'm doing this for you. But they don't want to help someone that's not helping themselves, and they don't want anybody to help anyone that is not serious about their business. So you have to show that in your interaction. You have to be open. You have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to disagree respectfully. Not that you have to do everything they tell you, but if you don't, they also expect that you considered what they thought and what they told you, and you can explain why you're going a different direction. And they can respect that, because as a business owner, they understand that you're going to have your own opinion sometimes. And you know, as you're growing your business and you're developing your business, I always took the approach, and I advise a lot of my clients to this day, to seek out as many people as you can, because no one mentor will know it all. You will have some mentors that will be stronger in the industry that you're focused on, and even within that, there's subsectors usually, whether it's on the marketing side, the procurement side, the merchandising side. Try to find as many mentors in many different places and in many parts of your industry as possible, because they all bring something to you to help you develop your business. Also try to find a good accountant, and if not a good accountant, somebody that can help you understand your numbers as soon as possible, from the very beginning. If you do not have a strong accounting background, you have to have that person that can support you and also be honest with you about the position of your company. There's nothing worse than to develop a company or think that you're developing a company just to come to find out you have no money in the bank, or you're not truly making a profit just because you have a little money in the bank. So find someone that can help you if you're not strong on accounting. Don't ignore it, and don't run from the truth of what your books are telling you. Also try to find, whenever possible, especially if your business, depending on the type of your business, good legal advice to make sure your business is structured properly from the very beginning. Have that person that you can talk to that will give you honest advice. And once again, you know, it's all about you to a certain extent. If you're a hard worker and you're really trying to do the right thing, you will find even attorneys that will give you advice and not charge you $250 or $500 an hour because they like what they see in you. So really work on that aspect of it. And on another mentor that is obviously very important, and several of the panelists have already mentioned this, is that your banker or your financial institution. Don't just engage that person when you need money. Engage them, get them involved in your business, get them to be a mentor, help them guide you before you need them. Have those conversations, so when you're coming to them for something, it's not a surprise, but they've known about it, they've worked with you, they understand the path of your business, they've helped guide you in that path of your business and also your financial planning to prepare you to move forward and to grow your business. But so don't just look at them as a source of money, look at them as a mentor or a partner in your business. And if you don't have one, you keep seeking that out until you find that banker that gives you that type of support, because ultimately they are going to be very important in your business. And then I always suggested, and I suggest to my clients to have that mentor that has general knowledge in business, maybe not in your industry, but they're engaged, they're successful, because you can pull things from other industries into your business. And then also they're just good people to bounce things off of, because they're functioning in a different arena, and that arena might be able to assist you in developing yours and bringing new ideas into your arena. So you want to have someone that doesn't have tunnel vision. I was in the food business for many years, and if I only dealt with people that were that operated in the food business, you just have a tunnel vision. So I always tried to have other people in other industries that I spoke to and learned from. But once again, it starts with you, and you showing them that you are serious, number one, about what you're doing, that you're a hard worker, and that you're worthy of their time. So
very good. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Again, some great points. I'd point out to the audience, you might have observed that this panel is made up of participants with a little bit senior in age, but that brings experience. You know, every time you turn a corner and you think you've seen it all, you've not seen it all. And we've seen a lot, though, and that's a lot of experience that you, the audience, can draw on from mentor experience. Speaking of senior participants, and I don't want to pick on you, Peter, but you kind of look like you're closer to my age. So
I'm only 29.
Okay, we're going to have you back clean up and fill us in on SCORE services.
Well, thank you. I'm pleased to hear that all of the folks here on the panel are my, we don't compete for clients. We work with each other, we leverage each other, and you as the client get the benefit of everybody here in terms of their skills, their organization, their programs, their knowledge. So I'm pleased to be on this panel. You know, a little bit about SCORE. In 1964, roughly, the federal government realized that small business entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of job creation here in the United States. And so they decided to create an entity. In fact, they created multiple entities that didn't really work with each other very well. And the idea was, let's provide mentors and programs and services to try to grow jobs. And so as a result of that investment, we continue to grow. And today there's about 12,000 people like myself. We have some mentors who are 30, some mentors who are 70. We live all across the United States. We service clients not only locally, but on a national basis. And it's pretty impressive. You know, this organization for calendar year 2021, we served in excess of 140,000 different clients. We had almost 300,000 interactions on mentoring sessions. And then if you look at our workshops that we provide, you know, we did have almost 500,000 people sitting in our workshops. So pretty amazing what gets done by a set of volunteers. And, you know, the real telling story is that we were involved with the creation of 25,000 new small businesses, as well as almost 100,000 new jobs created. So, you know, SCORE does a lot of stuff. As we come to the state of Wisconsin, there's 5 SCORE chapters located around, you know, the state. So locality is very good. You know, we have 300 volunteers who work daily with small business. And we look at small business as the person that maybe wants to start a food truck, maybe wants to start a salon, maybe wants to start a lawn care service. all the way up to clients that are multi-million dollars, which is under the definition of the SBA as a small business. And, you know, it just depends what people need from us in terms of, do you want to create vision? Do you want to clarify a vision? Do you need to talk about the life cycle of your company? Because as small businesses grow up, you know, the challenges change. You know, they add managers, they add investors, and you know, there's all kinds of things that people do for the first time, and a lot of times they only do once. And so they draw upon us to provide advice and mentorship to get them to do those things. So, you know, we have a lot of people skilled. We have accountants, we have bankers, we have administrators, we have executives, you know, we have farmers, we have people that have developed products. And so we have this whole host of people, and we don't just work locally. You know, I had a client who wanted to develop minimalistic housing in Southwest Wisconsin. Well, I'm not a builder, but going into the SCORE database, I found a gentleman who had his own construction company. Those two hooked up, and you know, he took the lead and provided very valuable services of, you know, how to do this. And so again, we aren't selfish. Client, we want to bring everybody to the table. And again, we work daily with all the partners on this panel to get the right people to help you at the right time in your life cycle. You know, as we shift to you know, the conversations with a mentor, you know, we really look to help you explore your dream. We help you figure out what your passion is, and we help you to bring it to life. And you know, I look at my partners, we get the vision solidified. I then look to the SBDCs. These folks are so awesome in putting business plans together. They've got great databases to pull research in. They have great tools, and they do that. And then when you get those business plans solidified, then you go, okay, I need some capital, whether that's going to a CDFI, whether that's taking advantage of an SBA lending program through one of the financial institutions, whether it's going to an angel or another investment firm. You know, we try to bring the right resources to the entity at the right time to support the vision. And, you know, again, we're not dream killers, but we're sure here trying to help you make sure that you have a higher probability of success and keep you on that path as your journey starts. And that's really what we're all about, is try to help people and ultimately growing jobs and small businesses here in the state of Wisconsin, as well as in the United States. So again, we're here to serve. We don't charge anything for our services. So, you know, if you're looking for mentors, SCORE is one place you can explore. And I can't tell you we're perfect for everybody, because, you know, personalities don't always match up, but we try our best. Back to you, David.
Okay, thank you, Peter. And we've got just a few minutes for questions. If our moderator from WPI, have there been any questions in the chat room?
As of now, there is no questions. I remind everyone, if you have questions, please type them in the GoToWebinar questions box. Thank you.
And our contact information is available through WPI?
That is correct. It's also in the directory on the website, www.sbeacademy.com.
Okay, because we're running short on time, and I know you're going to pull a hook on us pretty soon. So to conclude, to the audience, there is assistance available, and you just need to start. You just need to ask. You need to go to that first door, knock on that door. Don't be shy. That's your first test in business, to be bold, to approach somebody, be humble, and ask for help. You can tell from this panel, there are many resources throughout the state to access assistance. We're there to help you. So thank you, audience. Thank you, panel. I think that's a wrap.
Dave, there is one question if you still have a little bit of time.
Okay.
Can panel recommend any current preferred business plan templates or formats?
I've always referred people to the SBA website, and they have many models, and they're scaled to the very simple model, and that's a good place to start. And there are more complicated models to start with. I think every organization would have an outline for you. But if the question came to me, that's where I would go and suggest, then they can explore other resources. Anybody from the panel? Anybody from the panel want to weigh in on that business plan model? Are we still live? Okay.
I know we have just a generic business plan model, and I've seen some entrepreneurs use live the business plan model. But I definitely would say to every entrepreneur, do not, and I repeat, do not copy anything from another entrepreneur business plan and paste it in yours. We have seen that, and it's been a disaster. Do not, because that tells us as a lender or even as a mentor that you're not putting in the work. So show us that you're putting in the work, and we can kind of track it through what you've written. So just my little piece.
I know QuickBooks offers a model. As soon as I open the cover page, I can tell it's from QuickBooks, and it's generally missing a lot of detail. There's a lot of marketing, but no detail as to financial planning. But it's an outline. I guess it's a place to start.
Thank you, Dave. That is all we have for questions. So we are going to turn the presentation to Alex to conclude the today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Panelists, speakers, sponsors, partners, thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to remind everybody that we've spoken about our resource directory numerous times. If you logged in, when you registered for this event, in the top, on the top bars, you'll see there, it's a resource directory. Go in there, oh my God, in there, go in there. The resource directory is there. Also, some information was shared. Oh, there it is. It's being shared right now. Also, the folks that got to speak today, they are full of resources and knowledge. Don't be afraid to reach out to them. Join us again tomorrow at 9 a.m. where we will talk about e-marketing, how to get started with digital marketing. See you all tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a great day and make the most of it.
Thank you.